Hey guys, Kyle, the Death Knight of Anime here, and I guess bringing you my review of One Piece chapter 966, which, yeah, at this point, I'm, like, as you guys saw, I pretty much deleted my video that was addressing the whole, like, pretty much manga stream situation, but after this, like with pretty much with the thing to talk about here is that when I was reading this chapter, it basically it appeared on my on pretty much my manga on my manga rock app. It still hasn't updated My Hero Academia, but oh, but it has on another site. But yeah, the fact that One Piece still is updating on One Piece updated on my manga rock app, I'm genuinely not sure what to think about this situation now. Like, initially with Manga Stream down, it looked like they were pretty much shutting their doors because of they were shutting their doors down because of basically Shonen Jump or something. But now I'm not really sure. Like this seems like just a situation where I'm gonna have to take it like pretty much one step at a time and basically as and whatever situation comes from it. But yeah, I'm a little I'm kind of scratching my head a little here as to what's going to be happening. Like I don't know. Again, a lot of this could just be because of the could just be because of the of the of the holiday after these chapters, I think. But yeah, I'm not I'm really not sure. I think best bet to do is just take it as it comes. Uh, but yeah. So with that being the case, like I said, let's talk One Piece chapter 966. So starting off, one thing I loved about this chapter is that it gave us a lot more characterization about Roger. I mean, it's been pretty much alluded to for years in terms of the similarities between Roger and Luffy, but this chapter just gave us a full-on look at that. Yet at the same time, like pretty much despite sharing many similar qualities, there are still key differences between the two. For instance, in Roger's case, this chapter it gave us the sense that he had a bit more of a pretty much intuitive mind over Luffy. Like with Luffy, obviously I'm not obviously I'm not saying that Luffy is a dumbass. He's definitely one who can kind of clue into who can kind of clue into a lot of hidden details and whatnot. But I don't think we're really going to be able to. We're really gonna sit here and basically call him a genius when it comes to things like pretty much map reading or navigation or anything like that. But with Roger, this does show that yeah that even though Roger might have a lot of similarities to Luffy, he pretty much still does have like a bit more of a bit more of a pretty much cleverness to him, and a bit more of a bit more intelligence, I guess you could say as well. Like he wasn't just he wasn't just like a pretty much he wasn't just like a dumbass, or he wasn't just a dumbass like Luffy. He wasn't just like a dumbass like Luffy. He had like some actual like he had some actual like smarts, some he had some actual smarts to him, and there was more to him than just supposedly being like a pirate, I guess you could say. Which, so yeah, he definitely had a little bit more of a bit of an explorative a pretty much nature for a second nature for when it comes to exploration and whatnot, and map reading in some way. Um, so yeah, I definitely like how we definitely got a lot more. So yeah, I definitely like how we got a lot more characterization on Roger in this one. Um, and yeah, good old Oda giving us only a minor taste of the greatness that is Roger versus Whitebeard. but leaving the rest up to our imaginations, which I'll be honest, this is one of the few times where I am a little bit iffy on that particular creative decision of Oda's, because while I get it in the sense of not showing Roger and Whitebeard, I did feel there was a missed opportunity in that particular moment in order to show us, in order to mix it up and show us at least a couple more creative fight scenes happening around the main fight. Like for instance, last week I didn't say it, but I was kind of hoping we'd see like a Shanks versus Marco or Buggy versus Blackbeard kind of fight, but we just kind of we skipped out on the fight entirely. So for me it was good. It was a good moment in the sense of basically of Oda like from doing what he does in basically hyping us up and leaving the rest to our imagination, so to speak. But yeah, at the same time, I really can't help but feel that there was a little bit of a missed opportunity in order to actually show us how how a fight between like Marco and Shanks and whatnot would go, especially considering and it's because I feel like, especially a Marco versus Shanks fight, I feel it would kind of help to reinforce a little bit of the a little bit of a little bit of a friend a friend or basically rival kind of relationship, a friend rival kind of relationship that would that would also just back up a little bit of their just their small conversation at Whitebeard's and Ace's graves, just that look that Marco gives Ace when they're when they're paying respect to Whitebeard. You can see that there is a modicum of respect there. So I just feel that there was a little bit of a missed opportunity in order to actually like pretty much show us a little bit of that. But on the other hand, but on the other hand, we did get that pretty much big celebration between the Whitebeard pirates and the and the and the Roger pirates, and that in itself is good enough in order to show that, yeah, even though they're rivals, they still have they can still be like pretty much cordial and get along, even when they pretty much end up drawing a truce, which, yeah, you could basically tell from from Rayleigh's whole comment about these things turning into a gift exchange, that this definitely wasn't the first time this has happened. Like, this is like you can tell that they've crossed paths more than a few times for sure, as Roger has stated in the past. And yeah, they've become a little like they were just little party get-togethers at this point. Which, again, that in itself, it did show a little bit of the interaction and a little bit of the characters, just how they pretty much get along, I guess. Um, Now, however, in place of what we did get, like I said, we basically got the whole party and whatnot. But among the white beards and among the whole thing with the white beards and the characters and whatnot interacting, we did get an interesting detail about Blackbeard revealed, which is that he doesn't sleep. And it's a minor obviously this is like a minor detail that anyone would pretty much just kind of toss aside. But when it comes to Oda, you can just tell, even in the minor detail, he's trying to get at something with it. And with Oda just revealing a minor detail like that of the fact that he doesn't sleep, I think this is definitely Oda trying to expand a little more on what makes Whitebeard special, because as it's been kind of it's been hinted at in the past, like with Prince Marco stating offhand during the Whitebeard War that when it comes to pirates, like, Blackbeard has a very special body, and with him not sleeping, this could be like Oda's way of saying this is like clue number one as to why he's special and why later in life Blackbeard was able to wield two devil fruits. Now, in terms of what that's supposed to be alluding to specifically, I'm not sure, but I'm more than willing to bet money on the fact that it is connected to rocks in some way. Because I was after revisiting like last week's chapter a couple more times, and thinking about it a lot more. The more skeptical I became with the circumstances of Blackbeard joining like Whitebeard's crew, like there is definitely something there, and I am kind of on the bet that it has something to do with rocks. Um, with all that being said, we get a major reveal about Laugh-Tale. I'm not sure which one it is, if it's Raftel or Laugh-Tale, because pretty much the pretty much Viz and Funimation like translation I think is Laugh-Tale, but it's I think they're still using Raftel too. I don't in the manga. I don't know which it is, but yeah. But anyway, we get a major reveal with the final island of the Grand Line in this chapter. Specifically, Roger's journey. There's specifically Roger's journey there, which is that when Oden joined, it was actually his second go around through the Grand Line because Roger had basically gone through the Grand Line once and covered all his bases, but he just couldn't put the pieces together in order to reveal the pretty much final island, even with his ability to hear all things. And if anything, the chapter actually put a limitation on what kind of power that pretty much is. And so, and yeah, let's talk about the little point with the world government covering this shit up, because honestly, between this chapter and what we know of Roger's past with rocks and whatnot, and the whole thing with protecting the world nobles, I'm starting to really buy more into the notion that One Piece might be connected to the world nobles and even this national treasure, probably in some way. Especially if we also consider that the answers about the Void Century are supposedly at the end of the Grand Line. And thing is, everything I've just said right now, just now, I kind of want to be at least partially wrong, because the other thing with this chapter is that it was setting up a lot in the sense where it feels like Oda might reveal to us early what the One Piece is, but on the other hand, I don't think he'd actually do that. So that also kind of creates a little conundrum I have of basically what obviously. Obviously, this is basically covering like pretty much Roger's journey from Oden's point of view. So it just begs the question of what Oda's out would be for pretty much for basically avoiding like pretty much revealing revealing what the One Piece is, because this is covering this is covering Roger's journey from Oden's perspective. So how's he going to get around revealing the One Piece, I guess, is the biggest question I have. Now this chapter also kind of reveals a lot of this chapter also really did a lot for filling in the tiny details of Roger's journey in various but hilarious ways, like how Oden jumped ship from Whitebeard to Roger is really just like a pretty much a whole thing where he just said he begged Whitebeard in order to go, and it's like, okay, yeah, it's one of those things where it wasn't what I was expecting. It's somehow it's still really kind of. It's still one of those things where it works. It works. I don't know how to properly describe it anymore, but it just does. I will admit, and yeah, pretty much Roger. I will admit, the one thing I do like is how we do get a sense of basically how forceful Roger was with it too. Um, Oh yeah, and one other thing I really like is that is basically how pretty much sporadic, like as per usual, how sporadic, like pretty much Neko Mamushi and Inuyasha, like pretty much jumping ship with Oden from basically Roger to from basically Roger to from basically Whitebeard to Roger's crew was like it's one of those it's one of those reels where, as we see, that they just kind of appeared out of nowhere. And it's one of where pretty much how Nekomamushi and Inuarashi described it initially. They pretty much they described it. It's one of those things where on the surface, from the way they describe it, you can tell it's like a pretty much noble thing, and it's a noble cause for what they were doing. But really, it was it was pretty much just like it was just like how they did it before with him with them just kind of jumping ship and and appearing out right the fuck out of nowhere. Like, yeah, that's just them. Um, Now, or another cool thing is we also get the reveal of how of which Izo is that this was kind of the transition point of where Izo pretty much decided to stay with Whitebeard. But I'm curious to know if what his reaction was when we pretty much see that pretty much Oden had died. Like, I wonder what his reaction at that point was, if at all, because it kind of seemed like one of those points where they kind of cut ties, but they still kind of left on good terms, so to speak. So yeah. Um. Now, of course, the bigger reveal in this sense is we learned that Oden was the one who crafted Roger's words onto the golden bell in Skypiea, which is one of those things you naturally assume at this point, but it's still an insane reveal nonetheless, and it's kind of interesting how even though Roger meant it as a bit of a funny thing to do, it actually proved to be one of the biggest clue markers in present day history, in present day story, because like we pretty much all remember that one point in time where pretty much where Robin had discovered Roger's message on the gold bell, and it's like it's pretty much still a big deal here, but it's like it's played up a little more for laughs in context of what actually happened, but it still proved to be one of the bigger story points in in One Piece history for sure. So it's funny how Roger just did it for laughs, but unintentionally he did create a marking point for the Straw Hats. Um, on Oden's side of things, it's also looking more and more like my theory was right. You can tell that the more Oden continued his journey, the more you can clearly see his outlook on the world like changing, and he wanted to, which inevitably culminated to wanting to open Wano's borders to share this knowledge. The one thing I still want to know, though, is what the bridge point between Oden's return home to his death was that brought Kaido into the situation. Because it at this point it has to be a situation where basically Roger and Oden had a bit of an encounter with Kaido at some point, and Roger was the one who and Roger and of course Roger like and Oden like pretty much defeated him. So on Kaido's part, it was probably like it was probably for what he probably ended up happening is Kaido at some point after that like formed his alliance with Orochi, and they both had something to gain from Oden's death. Like with Orochi, it was probably a thing where pretty much the curse of his family and ended up coming back full circle. So he basically saw it as he basically needs to kill Oden, and Kaido just kind of did it out of revenge, I guess you could say. But we'll have to wait and see for sure on that. But yeah, guys, that's my review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Lister Crunchyroll. Death Knight of Anime, signing off. Later, guys.